Now, obviously, a lot of you guys do not like the emissions equipment on these trucks, and I understand that. EGR is just terrible for the engine, and then you have DLC, DPF, SCR, and DEF. So there's just so many emissions control features on these trucks that can reduce the life of your engine. Now, on the GM trucks, have you guys ever noticed the tailpipe? So I have mine over here, and I want to show you guys. Look at how they designed this. You see right here? They reduced the air flowing through here down to this. Now, obviously they did that to probably create a vortex because of the heat, because this is basically pointing towards your trailer. So if the truck's going into a regen, you do know you can see temperatures well over 1,000 degrees when the truck's in a regen. Now, where's that air hitting? Your trailer. Now, I do have a aftermarket exhaust on my truck, and you guys can see it is pointing upwards, and it did kind of burn off my step. So I have a solution for you guys. Now, you guys are going to find out really quickly. I did go visit Banks, and Jay actually walked us through their facility. That is a video coming soon. I don't know when I'm going to post it, but my goodness, guys, I was really, really impressed by those guys. Now, right here, this is why we're doing this video. We are going to be installing, not in this video, but in the next one I do, their exhaust system. I am super excited to show you guys this. Now, I do have two because my friend was there. He left early and he's like, hey, if you get an exhaust, can you get me one too? So I got him one too, and his is still sitting in my truck. So yeah, let's go ahead and unbox this. This is really, really exciting because I really want to show you guys why this exhaust is so good. Let's go ahead and open this up. They do a really good job, obviously, packaging this stuff. I'll show you guys what's inside of here so far. So anytime you open a Banks package, you have his signature, their website, and when you flip this up, check this out. You are now the proud owner of some of the most bad A performance products in the world. Now, when you guys see my walkthrough of their campus, you are going to be amazed. You're going to smile a ton, just like it says here. So, I did package some stuff at their facility, and they fired me pretty much same day because I did such a terrible job. Yeah. This is pretty much what you're going to see when you unpackage this. My favorite thing about this whole system is the black tip. This is probably the main reason why I wanted this. I love how they designed this tailpipe. This is like the crown jewel of already a big improvement. Now, I know some people are going to probably say that these exhausts aren't going to do much for your truck, but you can do whatever the heck you want to do. I'm not telling anyone to do anything. Now, this is still a 5-inch, and it goes down to, I believe, a 4-inch here. So we'll see how we do here with getting this all put together. They have all your clamps. Now, I did have to build something a little special for my truck, obviously, because I have a 5-inch exhaust. So this is what I have here. You can probably see if Banks can build something like this for you, but I was just prepared here, and I just figured, just in case I have fitment issues, I can still obviously make this work. So we're good to go, I think, overall. Now, with the show of hands, who likes check engine lights? I don't. So Banks has thought of everything for you guys. Obviously, you guys know the tolerances in these ECMs, BCMs, whatever it is. They're very, very tight. So the manufacturers create so much issues when you want to do upgrades to your truck, because in theory, we're not really allowed to do upgrades. And we know that based off of how very sensitive the system is. If you flow any extra air past that mass airflow sensor, it will throw a check engine light. So Banks created this sensor here. That way, it doesn't trigger a check engine light or even potentially a DPF issue based on the extra airflow that's going out of the tailpipe. Because again, you are reducing the restriction. I think that part of the exhaust I just showed you in the factory was like a 2.85 exit, right? And when you increase airflow, you're 100% increasing horsepower, and you can get better fuel economy. So I highly recommend these upgrades, especially alongside the intake, boost tubes, turbo inlet. I would even recommend doing the manifold absolute pressure relocate, just because it's going to reduce the soot on your sensors. Now I'm on bankspower.com, and if you still have an emission equipped truck, this exhaust system is going to give you some really good benefits. You can do chrome or black tip too, by the way, and their tips actually do a little bit more, which we'll explain here in a second. Now, here they say this is why it's better than stock and obviously the competitors, because I don't think the competitors have anything available simply because of the tight tolerances on these engines and ECMs. But it says here improves power and fuel economy. Why? Because you're reducing back pressure. That's not rocket science, that's just facts. We've always known that. And I've even seen where going from 4 to 5 inch exhaust can gain you more power too. Side exit prevents melting your trailer during regens, and it does look better, which I can agree. I can't wait to put mine on. And the main reason why I bought it is because of that. Stainless steel construction is going to prevent it from obviously rusting, and it'll last a lot longer. So this is the main reason why they're the only ones on the market right now that have a true exhaust that actually does give you some benefits, because the tighter tolerances require Banks and all other aftermarket companies to create ways around check engine lights. So this is Banks' solution right here. Now, right here, this shows the drop in pressure. You guys can see how this exhaust works compared to stock. So you guys see here. So this is the end result, right? And it says here, Banks' negative back pressure tip virtually eliminates back pressure after the DPF. With the side draft rocket nozzle-like tip, exhaust gases are literally sucked out of the end of the exhaust. So basically, they've created that tip to do more than just look good, which is pretty insane. And as I said, here's your stock, and I just like this so much better. I think it's going to help even for my truck to reduce the soot probably that's coming out of it too as well. So as we talked about earlier, 2.85 inches, that's what they've done from the manufacturer. They could have done a better job creating this tip, but they didn't. It says here with the stock exhaust nozzle measuring 2.85 inches compared to the Monster exhaust massive 5-inch outlet, the Banks system offers a 192% greater flow area than stock. And again, they did not have to do this. They could have just turned the exhaust like this, right? The only reason why the exhaust is bent down so much is simply because they needed to create this to cool the exhaust as it's coming out. That's it. And they could have just done a better job of creating this and giving us a little bit more power. So again, very, very sad how the manufacturers just continue to manufacture these trucks to not do as good. And of course, if you try to fix their problems, you get a check engine light. So that's what I like about this exhaust. Because they have that module, you're not having to worry about that. And it does help prevent your trailer from getting hit with all that hot exhaust.
Let's talk Monster exhaust. The 5-inch is very low back pressure. Even though we're behind the emissions equipment, there's still back pressure there. If I remove a pound behind the emissions equipment, I get a pound in front of the emissions equipment. If I remove a pound behind the turbine, there's a thing called expansion ratio, the pressure into the turbine versus the pressure out of the turbine. If I reduce a pound coming out of the turbine at full power, I'm going to get 3 or 4 pounds at the turbine inlet. That's what's called drive pressure.
Right.
So what I do here is multiply in the drive pressure reduction. And if you drop back pressure, you unload the piston coming up on the exhaust stroke. And this is where the real difference comes in. The whole idea was to make the tip literally scavenge the exhaust. And I'm not guessing at this. We instrument the living hell out of this stuff. Most tips, if you're on the flow bench and you put the tip on, it reduces the flow, especially if the tip's got things hanging into it to kind of blend fresh air and cool the tip.
Right.
This is where the real difference comes in. This tip forms virtually no back pressure, none. In fact, it helps scavenge the pipe. The way this works is we have a reverse curved rocket nozzle. We go to a bigger cross-sectional area, which is less restrictive than a normal tip.
Right.
So as the air flows over this, you're getting a partial vacuum
To help dry
at the
out
tip.
more.
Yes, we get a negative pressure right there.
Wow.
So profound that it's below atmospheric pressure.
So Banks creates emission compliant stuff, right? But because they don't create two different part numbers for a long bed and short bed, if you have a long bed, well, you would plug these two sensors simply because you wouldn't be using these because they're further up the exhaust, right? So in my case here, these two can get plugged off and I can just weld this one. I was gonna put that other sensor in here, but it doesn't really make sense because at the end of the day, that's just a particulate matter sensor and I don't need that. So we're good to go. And if you do have a long bed, it looks like the washer goes on this one and the small one did not come with one. So that's pretty much it. Now, obviously, if you have a deleted truck, you're probably thinking, do I really need to buy this exhaust? And I would say for fitment, I think that this is probably gonna fit a little bit better. I like the fact that this tip looks so dang cool. I'm not gonna lie, I probably bought this just for the tip. But regardless of it, I think that the way that they've designed this exhaust, it probably will give some kind of benefit based off of what I read online with this. But I do need to cut probably this off of here. I'll have to ask Josh if this is enough lip here. So we'll have to see if that's the case. But be sure to subscribe to the channel. My buddy has a truck, obviously, that we have to install that on. Josh has some videos too, but I'll probably film Josh getting this one on my buddy's truck. That way you can see both. And we'll just have to weld this shut basically, and that's pretty much it. See you guys in the next video.